What's up, boxing fan? This is TBE Boxing, back at you again. Today's topic, Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, the post-fight analysis. Also, Ryan has the tools to beat Gervonta Tank Davis. Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life for riches, huh? That life for riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glazzy run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fan, let's talk some boxing. So recently we had the fight, Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. Great fight. Great performance by Ryan Garcia. Now, let me be perfectly honest. In my pre-fight analysis, which I did a couple of months ago, actually, it was a long time ago. I was supposed to redo it, but I didn't do that. But anyway, I just wanted to make some adjustments to the what I actually said in that pre-fight analysis. But I wasn't going to change my pick. I still was going to pick. I picked Ryan Garcia to win, and I still would have picked him, but I would have just had some caveat. But anyway, it is what it is. So I picked Ryan Garcia to win this fight, and I was wrong. Okay. I mean, I picked, yeah, like I said, I picked Luke Campbell, but I was wrong. Ryan Garcia pulled it out, and he did a fantastic job. Okay. I mean, he did a great job. A lot of things he did in there surprised me. Okay. Luke Campbell, on the other hand, he did a couple. He was Luke Campbell, okay. He did basically what he usually does in his fights. But I thought that he had the experience, the height, the reach, to be able to pull this fight out and win the fight. Mostly based on his experience, against top level opponents. But it looks like Ryan Garcia, who I thought was not yet ready for prime time, and I said that in my pre-fight video that he wasn't ready for prime time, but like I said, I was definitely wrong, and he is ready for prime time from what I saw in this fight against Luke Campbell. So let's get to the fight. All right, so the first thing I noticed about Ryan Garcia in this fight was his confidence. Okay, he fought the fight with a lot of confidence. He was very relaxed. It seemed like in there, probably a little bit too relaxed. That's why he got knocked down. But he did have a high level of confidence in this fight, and I noticed that right away. Okay, he has all the tools. I mean, he has the height, he has the power, the reach, the speed. Okay, and all he needs to do basically is to just get more experience in the ring. Okay, and I think that this fight with Luke Campbell actually, will definitely build up his confidence, and so he's going to be even more confident going into his next fight. Okay, because by all measurements, he should not have won this fight. Okay, based on his experience and lack thereof. He was supposed to lose this fight, but he didn't. He came in there, he did what he had to do, and he executed well. Okay, and he won the fight, and you gotta give him his credit. Okay, I'm definitely going to give him his credit. He did a great job in there, and I'd like to say congratulations. Now, there's a couple of things he could have done, maybe a little better, but overall, he did a great job. Okay, and as for Luke Campbell, I've been watching him in a couple of fights now, and he seemed like he basically fight the same way. He was supposed to win this fight. He had all the experience. He actually put Ryan Garcia down, and he still didn't win the fight. He got stopped by a body shot in the 7th round, which is the next thing. I mean, I would have thought that if he was gonna lose the fight, he'd have lost it maybe in the 9th, maybe let's say the 10th or 11th, late in the later rounds, as opposed to be getting stopped so early in the 7th round, which is another. That's even more kudos to Ryan Garcia for being able to stop him so early, okay, in the 7th round. So, I mean, even Lomachenko couldn't stop him. Well, Lomachenko went the distance for them, okay? So, the fact that Ryan Garcia actually stopped him in the 7th round, is a big deal. And, says a lot about Ryan Garcia. So, Luke Campbell, you know, I've always said this, and I'm gonna always say it. A fighter that doesn't have a jab is a one-handed fighter, and Luke Campbell is basically a one-handed fighter. Okay, you know, his jab is not. He doesn't really use his jab as the weapon that he could be. Okay, I mean, Ryan Garcia got a better jab than Luke Campbell. It looks like to me, and you know, like most people got a better jab than Luke Campbell. He doesn't really use the jab. He basically paws the jab out there, and then he just delivers the left hand, which is his punch. You know, but I mean, the jab is something that can be a very effective weapon. Okay, against any fighter. And if you use the jab effectively, you're halfway to winning the fight. So I mean, that point jab that he uses, but he's not the only guy that does that. A lot of fighters do that, but I don't really like that. I think that that's you basically giving up, you're basically just giving up one of your hands and fighting one-handed when you use a point jab. I mean, sometimes you throw the jab out there, but the jab should never really paw. You should always use it, effectively. I mean, you can knock somebody down with a jab if you throw a strong enough jab. I've seen it done. Okay, so but he doesn't use the jab effectively. And like I said, any fighter that doesn't use the jab effectively is basically a one-handed fighter. Okay, and Luke Campbell basically paws with his jab most of the time. He uses it sometimes, maybe 20-25% of the time he jabs, actually throw a real jab, but the rest of the time he's just pouring it out there like a measuring thing type of thing. So a range finder, whatever you want to call it, but that's not the way to use the jab. I mean, you can use it as that as well, but instead of you pawing 75% of the time and using the jab 25% of the time, it should be the other way around. You should be using the jab 75% of the time and pawing 25% of the time. If you're going to use it as a range finder, then but he doesn't use the jab very effectively, and that had a big detrimental effect on this fight, because Ryan Garcia had nothing to really worry about, nothing to keep him away, because he's the one that kept pushing the fight, and there was nothing to really keep him at bay from Luke Campbell, because Luke Campbell really wasn't using the jab. Okay, so he just basically walked in on Luke Campbell most of the time, and the next thing is Luke Campbell never really backed him up, which is a guy like Ryan Garcia, you're gonna have to back him up, because you saw that he got dropped when he tried to back up against that punch from Luke Campbell. And Luke Campbell was able to drop him, but he was going backwards, and he went straight backwards. Okay, so Luke Campbell should have learned from that knockdown and tried more to back up Ryan Garcia, but he didn't do that. Okay, he kept circling around and basically staying in front of Ryan Garcia, in front of Ryan Garcia, where Ryan Garcia was able to find him with his jabs, some left hooks and right hands, a couple of right hands he kept landing. So I mean, Luke Campbell didn't really fight he didn't have a good strategy in this fight, it seemed like to me, and I don't see his corner. It didn't seem like they gave him any other options on how to actually pursue the fight. He should have been trying to back up. He should have been more aggressive. Instead of letting Ryan Garcia back him up, he should have been backing up Ryan Garcia. He's got the most experience. I don't think Luke Campbell fight aggressively enough. Okay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a fight on the back foot, but if you're gonna fight on the back foot, you need a good jab. You gotta use that jab. You can't just let the guy walk in on you. So Ryan Garcia basically walked him down, more or less, and beat him up. So now, in Ryan Garcia, like I said, he did a great job. I mean, there's a couple of things that he could have done better. Okay, but I'm not going to really focus on what he could have done. I'm going to talk about what he actually did do. And he used the jab effectively. Okay, right hand effectively. The left hook was effective. Okay, and the range, the distance was effective. Okay, he basically kept Luke Campbell at the end of his power punches and his jab and everything else. Okay, so Luke Campbell was in the perfect range for Ryan Garcia to deliver his punches, and he delivered them. Okay, and Luke Campbell didn't really make any adjustment in that regard. Okay, Luke Campbell could have should have fought more on the inside, like I said, he should have, back Ryan Garcia up, and he should have been more aggressive in how he approached the fight. But he basically, but again, though that right hand and left hook and the power of Ryan Garcia would probably had a lot to do with that. Okay, and then Luke. It looks like Ryan Garcia was also the stronger fighter in there. Okay, he looked stronger than Luke Campbell, and I think he was. So he's a very strong fighter. Has good power, good jab, good hook. I mean, basically, he has all the tools. Okay, all he needs basically is a little more polish in delivering in delivering his punches, and probably more combinations. Okay, and I think he's gonna be a difficult fight for anybody out there, whether it's Devin Haney, Tank Davis, even Shakur Stevenson. I mean, those are the top three guys I can think of. I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about him and Tank. I think that Ryan Garcia has the tools to beat Tank Davis. Okay, I really believe that. I think he has the tools. Now, whether or not he can execute effectively enough to beat Tank Davis is a whole nother story. Okay, because Tank is not gonna fight like Luke Campbell. Okay, Tank is gonna be more aggressive. So it would be an interesting fight between Tank and Ryan Garcia, and I would love to see that fight. I think that, like as I said, I think that Ryan Garcia has the tools to beat Tank Davis. He has the height, the reach, the power, and the confidence. I would think at this point. Okay, especially after this win that he had against Luke Campbell, I think his confidence probably went up, another 100%. Actually, he's probably twice as confident as he was prior to the fight. So yeah, I would love to see that fight. I mean, I think that would be an interesting fight to watch. Okay, and I think that in that fight, I would have to give Ryan Garcia the edge in terms of overall, in terms of all the tools that he has, because Tank is a shorter fighter, obviously, and he'd probably have a pretty difficult time coming in on Ryan Garcia, especially if Ryan Garcia fight with the confidence that I saw him fight in this fight. Okay, and but again, the thing about Ryan Garcia is he keeps his head kind of stiff out there, and I think a more aggressive fighter than Luke Campbell will probably take more advantage of the little things that Ryan Garcia doesn't do that well in there, like his movement and his moving straight back and keeping his head straight up down the line. A more aggressive fighter would get on the inside and push him back and and make him pay, because the thing about him fighting Luke Campbell was that Luke Campbell never really made him pay except for when he knocked him down. So basically Ryan Garcia just basically did whatever he wanted in there. Okay, and he didn't have to pay for any mistakes that he was making, because Luke Campbell wasn't aggressive like that. Okay, he just basically fought a defensive type of fight, and and Ryan Garcia was just able to do whatever he wanted basically, and without any cost to himself, except for that knockdown. Okay, and he was able to get up from the knockdown and make sure that it wasn't repeated, and kept Ryan Garcia on the defense. Luke Campbell on the defensive. So overall, it was a good performance from Ryan Garcia. It surprised me. I'll have to say that. It was a surprising performance. I didn't expect him to perform that well. He proved me wrong, and congratulations to him. Great fight. Now, can he do that same thing against a guy like Devin Haney or Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he had, like I said, he had the tools to be able to beat a Tank Davis, because the height difference and the reach difference, in regards to Tank Davis. But Devin Haney is a different kettle of fish. They're about the same height, I would think, close to it. And same thing with Shakur. So I don't think he'd have the advantages, against those guys that he'd have against Tank Davis. But then again, that the advantage that he has against Tank Davis could be offset by Tank's experience, because Tank is a pretty experienced fighter. Okay. But the fact that I saw Tank in there going 12 rounds with what's that fighter that fought, what's his name? It'll come to me in a minute. But yeah, so Tank Davis, we saw in his last fight he had a knockout. I don't know if he'd be able to do that against Ryan Garcia, if he'd be able to get inside like that. But he might be able to do that, and that's the difference between Tank Davis and Ryan and Luke Campbell. He's a more aggressive fighter. He has power, and he'd be trying to push Ryan Garcia back, and he would be going on the inside to deliver his punches. Okay, so but we'd have to see if I think he'll make Ryan Garcia pay for any mistakes he made in the ring. So, but I think with a little more polish, some more training, I think that'll be a great fight to actually make. And I think that Ryan Garcia would have a chance in that fight against Tank Davis. I don't think it's going to be a one-way beatdown, or that, he has no chance of winning against a Tank Davis. I think that would be a pretty good fight, an exciting fight. And I think it'll be a 50-50 fight. Okay. I think he'll probably have a little more problems against a slick boxer like Shakur and Devin Haney, but I think the fight still will be competitive. Okay, and I would love to see him fight any of those three guys, whether it's Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, or Devin Haney. Now, I don't know if he's going to fight those guys next, but, we'll see what happens. And, I'm looking forward to see great things from Ryan Garcia from here on in. Great fight. Luke Campbell, I don't know. He needs to be more aggressive, I would think, in his fights. Okay, I think he could have been a lot more aggressive against Ryan Garcia. And I think that if he'd have been more aggressive, he probably would have had more success, and he probably could have won the fight, because I picked him to win. But like I said, he went in there and fought, kind of timid actually, except, for the knockdown. And, again, he should have been trying to push Ryan back, and take advantage of his experience over Ryan Garcia, but he didn't really do that. But, it is what it is. But I thought it was a great fight. Congratulations to Ryan Garcia. That's all I have for right now. I'm going to leave it there. This is TBE Boxing. I'm out.